Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirrin Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirrindirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, welcome to the Crash Course, episode number 197. On deck, it's Promoters Corner night. We're going to be talking with promoters from all over the United States that are tied to the shows that we're going to be active with, or we've been talking about, or in our home area that are happening within the next couple weeks. I'm not even sure how long we're going to be here, but it could be up well past that 7 o'clock hour as we work through episode number 197 in that relentless pursuit of episode number 200, closing in now. 31st Lap is the longest running podcast now on FingerLakes1.tv at 229 episodes, and our goal before we're done is to catch and pass the 31st lap. So that's where the target is anyway on that one. Opening up with a couple of hot topics. GMW Motorsports has gone all in on their RC Derby circuit. So their RC Derby cars are going to be featured at a number of upcoming derbies, and they're working on that Cars for Kids program where industry players can sponsor and participate in this. It will put together a complete RC Derby car that is then raffled off to kids, and all sorts of different shows are going to be at Chaos in the Valley. They're going to be down in Florida, working with J.C. Molly's and John Cash and the SanFiippos on the shows down there, the Florida, the Southern Shootout. We're going to be down there for that one. In February, they've got stuff that they're trying to put in place for Blizzard Bash, and basically they align with a driver or with an industry player and hand out a bunch of tickets to kids, and they do a drawing. So it's not even like any money is really changing hands, but it gives those kids an opportunity to drive for the first time. And usually once they drive the first time, they're hooked. So if anybody's interested in that, you can get a hold of Ed Brewster on that one. Ed's been a good long-time friend of the show. He asked if we might be able to mention that for him. And so there you go, Ed. If anybody's interested in getting involved with that, there's an opportunity with Ed Brewster and JMW. Another quick item of note, Tom Bell, who's a long-time Derby driver. He's faced his own adversities here locally. He was in action with Jeremy Gulley and the Ellison crew at Seneca County Fair. His aunt is in really, really bad shape out in Ohio. He was driving by himself overnight trying to make it out there to be with her and what will most likely be her final hour. So our hearts and prayers go out to Tom Bell as he goes through that. Tom himself, a cancer survivor, was flirting with the end himself and fought back valiantly, and he's still out there running and driving derby cars, active with a couple of the RC racing circles that we move in and out of as well. So our wishes go out to Tom, and of course Todd Height, who's continued to battle the uphill struggle with his leg and his hand with those injuries. So keeping him in our thoughts as well. So turning our attention now to the topics at hand, we're going to be catching up with Jeremy Gulley. There's a good look at Jeremy and Wayne Ellison as well to talk about their shows that are coming up this month. We're going to be talking with Jeremy Hejduk about the Battle at the Border, which is also coming up this month. John King's going to be on the line to talk about Brookfield Wheel Days. October the 7th is going to be the Halloween Havoc show, and of course we're going to be catching up with Candice Jo, who is working with Ultimate Derby and Smash It Demolition Derbies to host the 2017 edition of Blizzard Bash. So the one that we've been talking about for an extended time is SanFiippo. We've been talking about it for just about a year now, and SanFiippo now right around the corner. Jeremy, I understand that all the T's have been crossed, the I's are dotted, and you're just waiting for cars to run through the gates. Easy as ever.
Yeah, right. We're still counting alphabets here, but it's coming fast and furious right now. We're trying. They're just, we could have 20 people and it still wouldn't be enough. I mean, right. It's just, we try to make everything right and do a good show there. And we're trying to get all those T's crossed and I's dotted. Working on it.
How much harder is the second year than the first year?
Well, the first year we kind of didn't really know what to expect, so we just kind of said, well, wing it, and what happens, and 225 cars later, we kind of try to expect and plan for that now. we ran out of a lot of things. We ran out of a lot of food and water and whatnot on the vendor side of the house last year, and so we planned for that. And some things have been easier, but some have been a little more difficult this year.
Right. The same day as Battle of the Border and the same day as SanFiippo, Wayne Ellison's going to be having his show. And this is another one that we've been talking about for just about a year. And you guys are gearing up for a follow-up to what was an absolutely awesome show for you guys last year at Paradise Speedway. Had over 100 cars, if I remember right. We were pushing 150. Weather didn't cooperate, but you had no issue drawing cars.
No. Yeah, definitely the monsoon didn't help at all. But, yeah, there was a decent car count.
Decent?
I think it'll be, probably somewhere close to the same as it was. It just kind of stinks, we got like multiple shows in the same days, but sometimes you can't really control it. It just,
right.
When, people don't really, I guess, we don't communicate with each other probably, we probably could do it a little better. Just to, you know what I mean? Help each other too in the long run.
Well, unfortunately, my daughter decided she wanted to get married this year.
Yeah, no, I just because I think there's actually one of those Belfast is having theirs too the same day.
Belfast is the same day, and then Battle of the Border in Ohio.
There's like four.
In Hejduk, there's 4 on the same day.
It's tough, man. It's tough to compete. We all kind of get there's like pockets of Derby area, and they'll support it.
Yeah.
But it'd be great if we could all have one weekend instead of 4.
I mean,
at the same day.
Yeah, because you'll go months with nothing, and then like one day you got 4 Derby. It's like what's going on there? But
at the same time, how difficult is it? I mean, it used to be that the Brookfield Wheel Days was the premier fall show, and PM Logging had their show up in Malone, and now we had Kings of Old School last weekend. Chad Winney coming away with the win in that heavy hitter division. We saw a bunch of Andy Lee won a raffle car over there. They had something like a 50-car turnout, which was pretty good, all things considered. So now the September season is so saturated. Now we're starting to push it into October. How tough is it to get room at the table, so to say, so that you can carve out a slice for yourself? Because even if you look at just these, if we take Wheel Days, the Fall Cleanup Show at Paradise, and SanFiippo, that's 400 cars. Right?
Yeah.
I mean...
But the other thing of it is how many guys would travel. I mean... I got to believe Morris is 2.5 hours from here.
Yeah.
How many guys would travel for just a cleanup show? It is, SanFiippo is a no-entry derby because it's a charity. We're not trying to make it off the drivers. We're trying to make it off the spectators and the stands. In the same side. I mean, I know some guys from PA that are gonna travel to Paradise because SanFiippo isn't a paying derby.
Right.
There's not a money class except for the 2-man extreme and the rear wheel drive V8 compacts. So I mean, myself, it's of course the SanFiippo one is close to me, but not so much everybody else.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I mean, I guess I don't. How do I say that? But it'd be nice to to get more people there for the cause. You know what I mean? To help donate and stuff like that. And that's why I didn't mean it in a bad way, but like having multiple shows, even people going to watch. I mean, there was people locally I know that went down there last year to watch. I mean, and you're still. I mean, whether you're running or not, it's still $10 to get in the door, right?
Yep.
So I mean, even if you're just going to watch, it's still beneficial.
And I think that's what I think. Honestly, it's not going to hurt the shows like in this area. The 3 shows in 3 weeks in my area.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt the car counts. The car counts are going to be the same. I think.
Yeah.
What's going to hurt is the spectator count
because it's pulling them apart.
Well, it's not only that, man. It's expensive to, to go to 3 shows in 3 weeks. It's entry fees, it's pit fees, it's gas, it's food. It's it's not just $35 to get in a gate. You know?
And then when you got kids, they're going to want a hot dog or a bottle of water, and
it was like $140 for me to get into the Kings of Old School show last weekend. Because I bought pit passes, of course, but still, it's a hard thing to say, at $150 a week just to go watch a derby.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I don't think anybody's going to get hurt car count. I think car counts are going to be where they're going to be.
Right.
People are going to run the shows they always have ran, and.
But one of the, to flip it the other way, Jeremy, you made the point is like how many guys from out here are going to go run out there. We haven't seen Mike Schroeder go out to Wheel Days. We haven't seen Mike Schroeder go out to SanFiippo. We haven't seen Jamie Brown. We haven't seen Mike Osterhout. And it's one of those things where a lot of those guys, once July goes by, their season's basically over. And you guys with Paradise have now been able to create something of that fall cleanup show with a really, really nice guaranteed payout. So instead of them being forced to drive someplace else, they could do it right in their backyard. I mean, that's 7 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
Listen, if I wasn't promoting a show that day, I'd be at Paradise myself.
Next year.
You know, well, next year. I got the date already for SanFiippo next year. It's back in October where it should be. But you know, I really enjoyed the show. We came up here to Seneca and ran this last year during, I think it was the fair show.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that track. You know, I've never run on Paradise, but I enjoyed running with the guys that were here. You know, and
but
and
they're
going to continue that mod class. You know, I'm game to build for it.
Right. You guys built something that very much captured an attentive audience.
Yeah, like you said, 'cause at a certain time of the year, so it's after the fairs and stuff like that, and when you open up the rules and let them do a little more, and so that way, if they have a car that's wadded up or something, like they can take plates and put them on there, and not many places do that, especially local. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And now down Stellan Sun here, that's like you guys. I mean, that's like a regular show for you guys.
Yeah.
No,
Plate
not
it up.
really.
No.
I think I was the first one to bring the fix-it plate into the rules, and that's in my regular rules in my limited weld class.
But weren't they there before?
And then
I mean, they weren't in the rules.
they weren't in the rules. No,
they were there.
They were there. Yeah, yeah. But
I mean, they were plating from the back of the bumper to inside the control arm before doing that was cool.
Yeah,
down there.
that's
It was just a stock show.
that's flat stock.
Nice.
But now we were just trying to get guys to save their cars and get it back on the track one more time. That's the the biggest thing with the fix-it plates. Of course, I've been out west, and a car with fix-it plates is and can be a hell of a lot harder than a car without them.
Yeah.
I would almost prefer a pre-ran car with plates than a fresh car sometimes.
Well, yeah, because
you could add.
Well, you already kind of know what's going on. You know what I mean? And that's like kind of where I was thinking when I was doing the rules is like where do you go with that? Because you're allowing cars to put plates on, so okay, it's pre-ran, so some guy can go out and back into his tree a couple times. Now, where do you know where he ran that show after? Throw some spray bomb on it. You know what I mean? So it comes down to, do you just let everyone put fix-it plates on it? Where do you think it's going to bend? I mean,
well, the downside of that is if you put a plate and it bends somewhere else, then you got to either cut it off to fix it or just let it go. So.
Wayne ran a Malibu at the state fair that got a flat tire, and he put fix-it plates on it to take Seneca County. It worked out great.
Ben told me to put it on the trailer. But yeah, and that's kind of where I was up in the air, because I think up until this year I was kind of like, well, you can call it and we'll figure out what we'll allow, and then like people never called.
And they just
showed up with hump plates and angle iron from here to here, and it's just like, well, all right. So if they're gonna do it, then just put a hard number on it, and if you come with more than that, then it's gonna come off.
Yeah, that's the same thing we do. In our regular shows. Now the SanFiippo Smash is a whole lot different than our regular shows. Basically, I don't want to say run what you brung, but bring what you got, and we're going to put you in with a clash.
Somewhere, yeah.
Because it's not for money, and it's a lot easier that way.
Isn't the max of it is the limited weld class per se?
Yeah, maximum's
right?
limited weld. We don't want no exoskeleton stuff coming. We don't want no full cages from bumper to bumper, kickers, no more than the kickers that are allowed in the limited weld class. And that's about it, But we try to limit it to that. Obviously, because we do have that wipeout at the end for the SanFiippo Cup, so we had guys taking 4 cylinders against Imperials last year. And
you just let everyone everything out there and go for it.
That cup, if you got the cojones to bring it.
Yeah.
I had guys out there with Nissan Sentras going against 67 Imperials and didn't care.
Which part of the car was the 67 Imperial? Was it the front half or the back half?
Well, there's actually 2 of them there, and at that time it was a 67 complete, both sides.
Okay.
It wasn't until after that he decided to make one side a 64-ish, one side a 67-ish.
Awesome creativity. So building on that conversation of what to do with your fall cleanup shows, we've got Jeremy Hejduk joining us from DerbyDog. They've got Battle at the Border happening in Ohio on the same day, September the 30th. Again, we were talking about how saturated that particular date is this year. Jeremy, how are you?
Good. How's it going, guys?
We're doing good. So tell us a little bit. I mean, you've got such a wide variety of cars. It sort of almost fits the same way with what Jeremy was explaining about the SanFiippo show and what we're going to talk about a little bit later on with the Halloween Havoc event with Jeremy Gullo. You've got a little bit of something for everybody on your card at Battle at the Border.
Yeah, it's, around this area, you could go 50 miles into Pennsylvania or 50 miles in Ohio, and you got such a wide variety and different builds. Years ago, there were so many different promoters, so there was different, lifestyles of which people chose to build cars. And during the county fair, you can only have so many classes with so much money, yada, yada. So, Battle at the Border, we're just trying to include everybody. You know what I mean? I mean, surely you could have 4 classes and pay, $15,000 or whatever. But if you can spread it out, try to get everybody just to come out and have fun. You know what I mean? It's not about giving some guy, $15,000. It's about everybody coming out. You got a car left. You know what I mean? If you got a wire car you got to fix, maybe you got to bump it up to a pro stock or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's sort of the same vein as what we're in, where we are, Wayne. We're sort of in the same spot with the event that you guys put on, because we've got guys that can come out of Canada. Dustin Ingram's coming to your show, and the car that Dustin Ingram builds to come and run in the U.S. is much different than what, take nothing away from him, somebody like Tim, Mike Osterhout, Jamie Brown. It's a completely different thing. So you kind of got to understand where you're at in the geography and what's happening around you, so that you don't sell yourself short on cars.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. I mean, car count is always key, and everybody always wants a large number of cars, but you certainly don't want 30 guys sitting around going, oh man, I got a mod car, I really would have came. So you try to give them the opportunity. I guess the point is, if you put it out there, they got an opportunity. It's open to anyone, really.
Right. In terms of your purse is pretty eccentric. You guys are paying some pretty serious money out.
Yeah, we're doing $35,000 total purse, and that's over 11 vehicle classes. $4,000 to win for a stock full size. The kicker cars like what you see at the Bash, that's $3,000 to win. An 80s wire class, we're going $3,000 to win. Just trying to make the appeal. I mean, listen, every Derby guy you talk to, the first question out of their mouth is, well, what's it pay to win? They don't ask you what the rules are, how many fixed plates I can have. They do ask those questions at some point. The first question is always, what does it pay? So you try to use it as a tool in your advertising to reach out to those people.
What do you think of that, Jeremy? You're shaking your head.
I 35,000. Our county fairs are $5,500 payout total. Some of them.
I mean,
yeah. Well, like what he said with like the county fairs, and not the rag on them, but like our Seneca County Fair. I mean, they bring in way more than they shell out. I mean, and not saying that they have to give it all back, but it'd be nice to do a little more than what they're doing, especially with the way cars are now and stuff like that. I mean, and not to always bring it up because some people do, but they got to turn around people. They got to turn around people in the grandstands every year.
Sure. But at the same time, we're not exactly comparing apples to apples either, because a standalone show has different budgetary restrictions than a county fair show does. A county fair, the Demolition Derby, is carrying the entire fair on its back. Yeah. So to cover all the expenses with your fair off of the Demolition Derby doesn't leave you as much income to throw into purses. Now, that's one side of the view. You could also say you got to spend money to make it. If you throw a ton of money at your county fair and you have 100 cars in the pits, then your derby's going to make more money as a direct result.
Yes, but and I'm sure that Jeremy can. You chase a lot of sponsors, Jeremy, for this show, or is it all? Does it support itself?
We'll get trophy sponsors here and there. I mean, we're talking a couple $100. This is like really out of DerbyDog's pocket, and you really, I mean, we got the money to back it up, but you're still biting your nails the day of the show, hoping, like last year, it rained all day in the morning, and then we had decent weather in the evening. So you're kind of biting your nails on if the people come in, if they don't. I mean, there's a chance you could take a huge loss, and that's business. You know what I mean? You got to spend money to make money, and you got to try it. And you talked about county fairs making money. I mean, I don't know a county fair that doesn't lose money on a truck pull show anywhere except Bowling Green, Ohio. So right. You're right. The fairs really do depend on the Derby to make them that money. And it is hard. I mean, we don't have sponsors. I might have $1,500 in trophy sponsors, but the trophy budget's like $4,000. So
right.
What do?
Sure. In terms of the rest of your season, how's the rest of the season been as a whole? You guys have been busy out there.
What's that again?
Your season's been busy. You guys have picked up. It seems like you guys have picked up some real momentum, and you got a good following out there since the last time we talked.
Yeah, we got 19 shows this year. We just did Jamestown Community Fair last weekend, Tuesday and Saturday after Labor Day. On the Saturday show, their total purse is $3,600 for 4 classes.
Right.
We had 94 cars there. And it's a free fair to get into. It's up on the hill behind a high school. I mean, it is, not to be a derogatory term, but it is a bow-hunk little fair, and they had 94 cars. So we are getting a huge following of people. We picked up a lot more shows than we've had in previous years. I think when you start to get a promoter that's in a specific area where the rules are all the same, guys, they seem to like that a lot better because they can run their cars elsewhere, and it starts to appeal to other people as well,
Can you imagine back before they got the turf field at Waterloo having a derby behind the high school?
Yeah.
Or over at Lafayette? That'd be cool, wouldn't it? I mean, what's it, to whoever wants to answer it first, what's it take to keep a driver's set? I mean, Jeremy, you've got multiple shows through the course of the year. Wayne, you've got one show, but you've got so many different eyes looking at that show at the end of the year that want to try and save something or build something, that want to be a part of that show at Paradise. Jamie, you've got 19 shows, and you rely on a particular group of drivers to sort of stay loyal. How hard is it to keep those guys?
Honestly, it's really just respect. I mean, it's being stern with your rules and being consistent with your rules, treating everybody the same. I mean, listen, we've had Toby Hiley and Scott Zisman run our shows, and we've had, John Smith, the guy that lives next to me, run a show. He's a nobody. You know what I mean? It's just, you really got to, listen, everybody wants their ego stroked, and sometimes you got to make people feel special, but at the same time, you just treat everybody with respect, and you treat them all the same, and we're all here to have a good time. I mean, everybody knows who's got a chance of winning and who doesn't,
Sure.
And at the county fair level, you're going to get those fly-by-night guys that put a car together, at midnight with their buddies drinking beer. And then you're going to have your guys that spend the money where they need to and do, weeks building their cars. So, you've got to cater to all of them, but I don't know if cater is really the word. You're not really letting them get away with anything. You're just treating everybody with respect.
Yeah, you got to give everybody the opportunity to go be a hero in front of their hometown crowd and not get run over in front of their hometown group. What about you, Wayne? I mean, we've got 100 cars that are waiting to line up outside of Paradise's gates.
Yeah, I mean, as far as rules go, I try to. I'm not the promoter. I mean, first of all, I usually just do the ruling, and my father's the actual promoter of the show. But I kind of feel out what everyone else is doing, being that it's a cleanup show. So you try to, figure out what everyone else is doing, and then kind of like not cater to them, but you kind of want to stay close to them too, because then that it makes it easier for other people to bring the cars from other places to to come there. And I had got questions about like the kickers this year and the actual plate rule. Well, and the plate rule was already kind of there. No one really called on it. It wasn't actually like you can do this type of a deal. So I added in there, but I kind of like put a hard line on it. So if you got something other than that, it's getting cut off. And with the kickers, like down at Seneca County this year, people don't have the money to buy the full cradles and stuff like that. I mean, is it a 100% exact comparison to a full cradle with transmission brace? No. But if it makes them feel a little better to throw them in there and say that they're able to compete better with those, then and so in all reality, what did we do different with the rules? I hardwired the plate rule and put kickers on there.
Right.
So really, I didn't do anything dramatic. You know what I mean?
But
it wasn't huge.
But has that, in terms of the phone call and the responses you've got, has that helped you in terms of driver retention? You don't. I mean, there's nobody out there that I've come across in micro circles saying that, hey, we're definitely not going to the show because of this. I've only heard more people saying, hey, this thing's out there and I'm looking forward to going.
Yeah, I'm not saying that probably people have, not coming because of it, but it's just they're kind of like curious, like, hey, why'd you do that? And then sometimes you got to explain to some people a little more than others, and and some people get in, and it's like you don't have to. I mean, when they were running the full cradles last year and you came with a stock car, you didn't have kickers in it. You don't have to put them in there this year. If you want to, the rules there saying you can, and if you don't, then don't.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like he said, just try to be fair with everyone that comes across the board. And with it being a cleanup show, I mean, some people might have stuff a little bit different than here and there, but you try to be equally fair with everybody.
Right. How about you?
My regular shows, we have 6, and I'm with Jeremy as far as respect. You have to treat the drivers with respect. Mm-hmm. Being a driver myself, I know how I want to be talked to as a driver, from an inspector, and I try to instill that into my techs. There's things that I didn't think were going to happen that happened, and some guys that we thought were doing things a little different than they should have, and we talked to them and got it squared around and leveled the playing field, and that's what we try to create mostly is a level playing field across the classes,
Right.
And if we can keep that and maintain that and keep the rules consistent through the year, then I think we're going to be all right. Of course, there's this is our first year out full-fledged, with the tech crew that I've got. And they've made mistakes. I've made mistakes, as far as the tech side goes. But we're working to correct that.
You had 8 nights this year?
I think I had 8 nights, yeah.
Yeah.
8 nights, 8 shows. And then with the SanFiippo Smash, it's kind of a, okay, this guy's got a cage and this guy doesn't, so this guy's going to run Heat 1, more stock class. This guy's going to run Heat 2. He's a little more built. And, we're expecting about 60 compacts, rather. So we're going to have, try to put 12 to 15 cars on the track at the same time. And that's kind of a...
And it'll last about 8 minutes.
Yeah. But we're dealing with cars from Norwich, which is a bone stock. I mean, you can't even weld a bumper on there. To the Brookfield cars, which are allowed, I think it's 10 inches of plate. Don't anybody quote me on this, but I think it's 10 inches of plate.
A little bit different. And then you got Herkimer cars factored in there too, which is
you got Herkimer cars. Yeah. There's so many small county fairs, Fonda and Walton, and I know there's some guys coming up from New Jersey this year in GDS, and I mean we just got a huge area to cover that we try to just level the playing field as much as we possibly can. Within that particular heat. Now, are you going to see bone stock cars going against cars with loaded bumpers? No, you're not.
Not until the smash at the end.
Not till the smash, and that's totally up to you. If you want to bring it out, bring it out. But just to touch real quick on the kickers, what they don't exactly level the playing field, but they sure give a young guy enough of an edge that he can go in and hold his own with a DP car, and he's got 2 choices. He can either continue to run the kickers and figure out how to make that kicker car better, or he's going to spend the money and buy the DP, but then that's going to be another learning curve because it's one thing to have the parts, it's quite another to know how to put them together.
Right.
So, I think that our limited weld class is 10, 11 guys strong. And it's not huge, but most of the time it's the best show of the night. That or the trucks down by us is probably one of the best 2 shows we have.
We'll get into some of the truck stuff with John King in a little bit when we talk about Brookfield Wheel Days. That's a monster all unto itself. Jeremy, in terms of what you're looking at, is there anybody that really stands out in your mind that helps make this Battle at the Border show possible?
I'll be honest with you. It's really the drivers in this area. I mean, they really have dedicated themselves, and people have started to come around more. We're getting guys back into derbying that have been out for a long time. I mean, that's the biggest part of it is the people. It's a lot of advertising. It's a lot of getting out to people and getting the word. I mean, Facebook and social media works so great, but, you've got some older people that, you've really got to speak with them and answer their phone calls, and believe me, these guys will call you late at night, but it goes a long way, and it is. It's really just the drivers and the people in the area, and on the flip side of that, it's all my guys that work for me. We're definitely not making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. We all have real jobs to do, and it's really a glorified hobby. And on that spectrum, if it wasn't for those guys, it wouldn't be successful either. So it's really a combination of the two coming together.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where you got to have them both come together. It's one of those symbiotic relationships. If one isn't working for the betterment of the other, then you're gonna find yourself in a pretty deep hole in a hurry.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The Battle at the Border. We'll run through some of this stuff here. Let me find that one more time. There it is. The Battle at the Border is coming up on the 30th of September. It's $50 an entry per car, per class. So if you want to bring 5 or 6 cars, just bring a handful of $50 bills. You can get into any one of the classes that you want to. 11 different classes of action, September the 30th, 2017, at the Ashtabula County Fairgrounds, which is 127 North Elm Street in Jefferson, Ohio. $50 an entry per car, per class, $35,000 purse. Gates open at 9. Derby starts at 3. $4,000 to win pro stock full size, $3,000 to win pro modified full size, $3,000 to win pure stock compacts, $3,000 to win 80s wire class. Plus, on top of all that, you got the 5-foot class, the full-size trucks, the stock minivan, light truck, SUV class, modified mini V8 trucks, pro mod compacts, youth classes for the wire compacts and the stock compacts. If you want more details, jump online, DerbyDog-Productions.com. The show, it sounds like it's going to be an awesome one with all those different classes out there, and you're going to be wrecking cars all night long.
Yeah, we're actually opening up Friday night too. If guys want to come early for inspection, 4 to 9, they can come in, set up their campers, get a good spot in the infield. Yeah, I mean we're going to be derbying all night long, and hopefully we can move through it pretty quick. I mean, downtime is, we don't want any of that during this show with 11 classes.
What do you do in terms of arranging tow-off vehicles when you've got 11 classes? You got to make sure the stuff's big enough to drag off the weld cars, but they're nimble enough to get around there when the track gets congested.
Yeah, it's, that's the thing. You can draw a map out all day long and get everything set, but it don't take but a couple of, operators to put something in the wrong spot, and you're really screwed. But I think we got enough, guys to get them off the track, stage them, drag them to the trailer. I mean, it's, for those guys, it's going to be a lot of work, too. These guys aren't showing up with a backhoe just to watch a derby. I mean, these guys are going to be hustling all day, too. So, and that coincides with, the amount of work and effort that goes into it, too. I mean, people don't understand the amount of background work that goes into a lot of these. I mean, you guys know, even the radio show and the podcast, you guys got all this preparation you got to do that happens behind the scenes, and it's the same with those derby other promoters are finding out, too. You go to the bass, them guys, they got machines everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the tow-off crew's work never ends with the derby. They're usually in the pits long after that derby's over with, helping get cars loaded up on trailers that are too broke down to get up onto the trailer to take home.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work on all parts. So,
looks like you were going to say something, Jerry.
I was just waiting for an opening. I was just going to ask Jeremy: are all 11 classes? Are they all heats and features? Or are they all one and dones? Or how do you judge what's going to be one and done and what's a heat and feature?
We would really prefer, and the drivers as well would prefer one and done. Last year, this pure stock compact class, we had 55 of them. We ran them all together. It was a big track. I mean, we were able to widen it up and make it big, and it turned into like 3 separate little derbies out there. The guys don't want to bring parts and tools and work on their stuff, and we got to cut it off at some point, I guess, based on the size of the track and stuff like that. So right now, we're kind of leaning around that 40-car, 50-car mark before we got to run heats. We've notified as many guys as we can. We just kind of play it by ear and see what really shows up and how many. I mean, I think we had 32 of the pro stock full size last year, 30 of them, and they fit comfortably in there in the pit. I mean, you ask the drivers, they want one and done. You ask the fans, they want to see heats of the feature. But you guys know you pack 50 cars there, and it could turn into a bad show real quick. So,
I honestly think that the drivers drive a little harder than with the one and dones than they do with the heats and features. Obviously, there's no reason to save anything, and but there's absolutely no way we could get 50 cars on the track. I mean, we're struggling to get 22 compacts on a track.
Track's not deep enough. It's plenty long. You can do it all day long.
It's long. It's just not
deep enough. Narrow drag strip.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you run heats, you gotta plan and set aside time for that too. Plus, you really mixes your schedule up because you got to run your heats earlier to give them guys time to fix their car for a feature. I mean, it's like I said, it's going to have to be play by ear and see what your car count is. But you're absolutely right. It's going to mix up a lot of things and shake it up by the end of the day.
Jeremy, man, I wish you the best. In terms of the Battle at the Border 3, it certainly has gained some postseason momentum. Third edition of it this time, $35,000 guaranteed purse. Wish you the best. Hopefully you get so loaded up with cars you got to go till 2 in the morning.
Don't wish that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having us on too. You guys, things have come around for us. I know back in the Cuba days it wasn't so healthy, but we listen weekly, and we appreciate you guys being a part of the Demolition Derby world with everybody else. So
we sure try, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot, and we'll be in touch. Let us know how you make out after Battle at the Border.
Sure, sounds good, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you later, Jeremy. There goes Jeremy Hejduk with DerbyDog Productions, getting ready for Battle at the Border coming up on the 30th of September. A couple of the other shows that we had mentioned as we were getting going here through the course of the evening. Here it is on Spinning Wheels Productions. The 2017 schedule, what's left of it, is online, spinningwheelsproductions.com. SanFiippo Smash is the one that we've been focused on, September the 30th, Otsego County Fairgrounds in Morris, New York. There's a class for everybody. It ends with the wipeout-style SanFiippo Smash, where anything left running comes out and can battle for the cup. Limited weld rules are the maximum of what's allowed. Bring the cars out, compacts, trucks, vans, full size, you name it. They're going to find a class for you to run at. Again, that is with Spinning Wheels Productions, September the 30th, SanFiippo Smash, Otsego County Fairgrounds in Morris, New York. We're going to be transitioning here momentarily to Brookfield Wheel Days. First, Chaos in the Valley, we're going to be talking with these guys in a couple weeks as well. This one's creeping up on us closer and closer. October the 21st, we're going to be back down at the Shenandoah Valley with Jason and Penny Shipe and the Thomas Brook Volunteer Fire Department. This show is always a home run. Jason Shipe, 540-335-7510 is the best way to get a hold of him. The event is at the Shenandoah County Fairgrounds in Woodstock, Virginia. The weld class is now open to Imperials and Hearses. The card includes the compact division, the stock division, weld classes, trucks and vans. It's always a fun show to get down and be a part of. We're going to be putting in their T-shirt order probably within the next 24 hours to make sure that their products are done and ready for us to bring down to them. They're at the Shenandoah County Fairgrounds when we get back down there on the 21st of October. And also coming up just around the corner, it's going to be here before you know it. I said it's around the corner. JMW Motorsports going to be part of Chaos in the Valley, also going to be part of this one. Florida Southern National Showdown, February the 10th, 2018. Two-man team demolition derby. 20 teams from all over the nation are going to be in competition. Tickets are available already. HernandoFairgrounds.com. Hernando County Fairgrounds is the site of it, 6436 Broad Street in Brooksville, Florida. I also had a note over the weekend from Jeremy Ertman that Napa Winter Slam is going to be falling on that same day. So we're going to be trying to figure out how we're going to split everything up and cover both of those effectively. But Winter Slam falling right on top of the same day as the Florida Southern National Showdown. Depends on what you like. If you like Minnesota or Florida in February, you can take your pick that way. And we're going to be getting with John King here momentarily with Brookfield Wheel Days. Wheel Days is coming up this Saturday, September the 23rd, Madison County Fairgrounds in Brookfield, New York. King Smash and Crashe'em Derby host the annual fall cleanup show at the Madison County Fairgrounds. This has been part of our schedule dating back to 2011. It's always a hard-hitting show. You see, you pick it, you're going to see it. We've seen Volkswagen Beetles, PT Cruisers, 65 Imperials, roundback wagons, Cadillacs, and all of them have done well. It's going to be a fun one. The show's been part of it, like we said, dating back to when we were doing DVDs back in 2011. Always excited to see that one. Facebook.com/King Smash from Crashe'em. If you're looking for more information, you can also get a hold of John King, 315-750-6956. So Wayne, had a chance to hear a little bit from Jeremy Hejduk. Anything that you heard him hit on that struck out to you?
I mean, just being like he said, just being respectful to everyone that shows up. I mean, that's like king. I mean, if you're not respectful and you're going to be, basically being blunt, if you're going to be an asshole to people, that they're just going to, put a bad taste in their mouth, and then they're not going to want to come back and run for you anymore. I mean, and more or less.
It's a quick way to end it.
Yeah, I mean, really, it is. So I guess being proper and getting along with everybody and stuff like that. I mean, that's really, I mean, that's the key.
You have to try, at least try.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the bottom line. There's obviously a line that's drawn in the sand where you just can't.
Yeah.
But be professional. I think the Derby world has gone to a level where guys kind of expect a certain level of professionalism in both the tech crew and on the flip side of that, the drivers. You don't want the drivers cussing your techs out. You talk and speak respectfully. And listen, my idea of a rule is not your idea of a rule, but let's come to some mutual ground, and try to do it in a respectful manner rather than, give them just ultimatum. It's either my way or the highway.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody will benefit from that. The promoters will benefit. The drivers obviously benefit. And I think it's a better way.
Yeah. Well, with us being a cleanup show, I mean, we work with everybody to a certain extent. I mean, if it's just like blatantly not supposed to be there or illegal or something funny done, then that's a different story. But I mean, if they're just little something small here, a little something small there, I mean, that's you don't really harass them about it. I mean, like I said, because you got people coming from different places. They're all going to have something a little different.
Yep.
That's not everything's not going to be 100% exactly the same, but what you got done might be versus what this guy's got done, and vice versa. So
you've also got a couple suicides coming to your show, I hear.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't talk to too many people. I mean, unless they get a hold of me and ask me like a question about rules or something like that. I really don't. Not a lot of people reach out and get a hold of me and be like, hey, ask questions about anything. I mean,
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it when they show up.
The only, really, the only one that I think that reached out that you would mention was Ingram, and that was basically on his tilted Ford there because it was in front of the A arms.
It's fine.
And I guess Bash, huh?
Not even a concern.
Yeah, it was something that they read one way, and I mean. I think it's fine the way it's done.
It's been run 5 times. It's got 4 wins. It's basically stock. No problem at all. John King joining us on the hotline. John, getting ready for Brookfield Wheel Days this Saturday. I'm sure you are kicked back, feet up, no problems, no concerns, just ready for the show to get here.
Oh, you lost him.
John? John, where are you? Okay. There you go.
Good old Brookfield cell phone reception.
Yeah, right. John, you there now?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, there you go. So, how's everything coming for Wheel Days?
Well, I guess okay. I don't know if anybody's been watching our Facebook, but
your lights look good.
We put in a lot of lights, different lights. So
that's going to improve everything about that show. Just unto itself. Yeah. Between driver safety, the quality of the show, being able to see everything that's going on, you're not going to have those dark corners where people can hide. I am a huge fan of those lighting upgrades that you've got over there.
I guess there's no reason to paint my Tahoe black no more and hide in a corner.
Nope. I don't remember you hiding much anyway, Jeremy. You're not really the hider type. You're more of the back up to the corner and then scream across the track as fast as possible type.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a different place for you. I'm going to call you later, and we'll try. I'm going to talk about it later on if you got time later tonight. But,
yeah, sure, no problem.
Well, for Wheel Day, we got to put this out. They must be 14 to be in our pits, and there's no alcohol in our pits. We kind of like to put this out because some people are abusing it, and everyone must stop in at our sign-up registration table. And better lightings and things. Thanks to my son Jay, Matt Seeley, and some couple other ones, my brother Bart, and they had to come over and straighten us out because we had things screwed up a little bit. we're no electricians. We're just shoot like we were hoping Mr. Winnie would come around, but he never comes up either. So we need to take our money home. and And at our drivers meeting, we've got a big announcement on Saturday that we're going to announce something about on Saturday. So hopefully people will get there early enough so we can have our drivers meeting and not have to rush through it. But our payout, if you don't mind, I'm going to say,
go ahead.
Big cars, it's going to be $1,500, $500, and $150.
Okay.
And then the small cars, there's going to be $1,000, $200, and $125. But
Okay.
And last year we increased that some down the line because we had more cars. So
Right.
That'll probably happen again. And the trucks and what we call the trucks and the junk run, that's 100% payback plus a $100 bonus with 5 or more, which we get that.
Okay.
And we have our rollover contest. Of course, that's mainly family, and they're nuts anyway. So, and the limited, we got I think 4 or 5 cars right now, and if people bring them that day of the show, as long as they have their $100 and go by the rules, we'll let them in. But right now, I think we got like 4 or 5 that said they would run, and we're trying to get more incentive for them. That's 100% payback too. So it should be a good class if we can get more cars to come. But either way, we're just going to do it. So
you hit on a couple things. You mentioned the drivers' meeting. The start time for this year has changed a little bit, correct?
What's that?
The start time for wheel days this year has been moved?
Yeah, the Power Wheels are at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And our Derby is starting at 3 o'clock, and we want the cars there and in line by 2 o'clock because I got a wife that gets very upset when people come in late. And I don't blame them because then we're set back, and I want to try to get this show done by so we don't have to use the lights, which I probably shouldn't because then we should try them. It all depends on how many cars come out. I don't know, but with these other shows and stuff, I don't know how many cars we're going to have. So
I think you'll be fine. You guys have been setting record numbers the last 2 or 3 years with wheel days. You shouldn't have any issues. And then the real treat of that night, and Jeremy Gulley can attest to this, is the truck division. And you guys are going to have what? Probably 25, 30 trucks out there?
I hope so.
Oh, I would dare say I know of probably at least 15 that are coming on my own knowledge, and that's not counting everybody that's up in that area that doesn't really get on Facebook, whether they don't have internet service in Brookfield or not. But I think the truck heat's going to be a damn good show. I really do. I know a couple guys that are coming out of Hartford, or not Hartford, Herkimer, and be a good time.
Yeah, I think Alan's been talking to guys out of Pennsylvania too, and I think there's some of them guys are coming up. So I don't know for sure, but last year or during the fair, that Baldwin came up, and some of his buddies want to come up with him and bring cars. So.
I mean, what's the
barrier? I'd say.
What's the likelihood of that class getting split? I mean, if you've got 30 trucks out there, wouldn't it be better to split that in half and do 15 each and run 2 groups of them?
That's probably what we'll have to do, but I don't. Yeah, because then they'll still get the same amount of money either way. Because, like I say, they get the 100% payback plus we might have to throw the extra $100 in for the second class for us, but that'd be no problem.
If you have 30 trucks, it shouldn't be an issue, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. And what's going to happen is we're going to have probably some of the smaller trucks in the vans too that are going to have to run together. But that we got a separate class for them too, the vans and the minivans and the smaller trucks that I don't dare to shove up with the big ones. So I don't see anybody get hurt. That's for sure.
Right. So you're gonna split the compact trucks and the full size trucks, anyways, John. Compact trucks or small trucks with the minivans, regardless.
Yeah, the small trucks will probably run, unless I have a bunch of minivans, the small trucks will probably run with the minivans. So,
okay,
that's the way we're going to try to probably end up having to do it because I don't want to shove these like S10s and stuff like that up in with the big trucks if I don't have to. So.
Well, that's a I think that's a good thing. Some of the younger guys that are running some of the smaller trucks that don't quite build the caliper of truck that we've started to get in our area. That's why I split the compact trucks and the big trucks, and left the compact trucks more of a stock build than the full size, and split the classes. I think that'll draw you more vehicles, and it helps the area out.
Yep, that's what we're gonna. We did that last year at Wheel Day. Anyways, we put the smaller trucks and the vans together because, like I say, we don't want to shove them little ones up because I see some of them buckle real quick, and I don't want to get anybody hurt.
You guys have a junk run element at the Paradise show, correct? But you
Yeah.
don't have, but not full size trucks.
No, it's just junk run, smaller stuff. Yeah.
Junk run out here is like
S10s,
SUVs,
Blazers, Ford
Explorers.
Rangers, minivans, anything like mid-sizey and below.
How about Safaris?
The big cargo vans.
Yeah, GMC Safari,
No.
Chevy Astros.
No.
all-wheel drive.
The Astro vans are okay, but not the big like 1500s, like the big caravan style ones,
yeah.
like what Eamon and them guys like to run.
Yeah,
not
not those.
nothing like that.
Oh, the
Usually the
Astro.
smaller stuff.
Astro and Safari, those are a lot of fun. Those are tough
I'm here to
trucks.
tell you, them Explorers they're a stout unit.
Yeah, it's what most people around here usually run is the Explorers and stuff like that. The minivans, though, I mean, I guess if they run them right, they're okay too. I think the last
I'm too fat to run backwards.
the last I think it's been the last 2 years a minivan may have won.
I think a minivan won the early show in Brookfield too this year.
Yeah, and a minivan has done very well the last several years at Brookfield Wheel Days. They've gone out and won at least 2 times. I've seen a minivan get put into the full size class.
Not in Wheel Days. The last 3 years, I think, has been won by Eric won with a Jeep. I won with a full size truck 3 years ago, and then Eric won with a Jeep, and then I won with a Tahoe last year. Minivans have won the fair show, I think, the last 4 years.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting.
Yep, the fair. Yeah.
That might be it. I'm trying to keep them all straight.
Yeah, the fair show has never been a big truck draw for Madison County Fair, but always been a big truck draw for the late show. I think there was 22 or 25 trucks. We tried to roll and start the one year. There was so many trucks we couldn't get around the arena. And I think Brookfield's probably one of the biggest tracks we run on.
It's got some good size to it. I mean, they do earlier in the day. They do that truck pull thing as part of Wheel Days, and then they get everything out of the way so we can do the Derby. And those pits are always jammed.
We don't have the truck pulls now.
Oh, they got rid of it. Okay. Well, they
We
used to.
we combined them on the Friday night because I told them, I says, I want to start earlier so I don't have to be up all night.
Right.
And they didn't. At first they didn't like it, but now they're trying to go back to the others like they used to. But I'm still fighting. But I should get preference over it anyway. So that's what I tell them. But you know how people are.
I think them lights. I mean, I seen the pictures on Facebook and stuff at night. I think that's going to make a big difference throughout just from a fan standpoint to be able to see better. It is quite a ways away from the track, but from a fan standpoint, I think the lights are going to make it night and day difference. No pun intended, I guess there, but
Yeah, hopefully they all, like I say, if we have to use them, I hope our test run will go good. But they'll be using them probably Friday night anyways, but we put them on last night again, and for a while, and we put them on for quite a while Saturday night, and all except for the one that we had to have fixed Sunday, it did fine. So hopefully we won't have any trouble, but you never know.
John, is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of that helps make the show possible? I know you got a good team around you that dedicates a lot of time and effort into this show. Basically, it becomes a year-round project.
Yeah, well, I want to thank my family the most because without them, I wouldn't even be able to do anything because they're the ones that help me out all the time. And they might complain now and then, but you got to have loyal people. They have been loyal with me. They said as long as I want to do it, most of them says we'll do it. But as soon as you want to get done, don't feel like you got to do it for us. That's what they tell us. But thank we want to thank Lincoln Davies. Of course, they're going to bring that big flatbed down for you again. So
Awesome.
For your podcast.
Beautiful.
And so hopefully we can find. I got an idea we'll talk later about. But,
Okay.
And then Brandon Briggs with a B&L lawn care that I got 5 boxes of trophies out on my lawn right now. I got to find out what the hell to do with them. And I mean, they're big boxes.
I'd advise bringing them in the house before they get stolen.
Hopefully, my son will come put them together because he did the last time, Alan. And
He should.
And another one is Aqua Valley. They help us with the water and stuff like that and sponsor some of the trophies. There's too many. I'm sorry that I don't mention them all, but you know, there's and all the Mad Dogs. I want to thank the people that are with the Mad Dogs because without them we wouldn't be able to afford it. So. And make sure people know that if you win the Mad Dog, you do get to go to the feature if your car is.
If there's anything left to run with. Yep. Definitely.
As long as your car's safe enough to run, that we let the Mad Dogs go in. Or they can find another car, like everybody else can. But
And a lot of guys go out with a mission just to win that. So, I mean, that's certainly one of the things that people want to accomplish is walk away from Wheel Dates with a Mad Dog Award because you're doing something special when you walk away with that. John, I appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us for a little while. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Terry, you did a great job keeping John informed of the stuff that he had to hit on in the background. Always good to have a good production manager on the backside. You guys, you have a good night, and I'll catch up with you on Saturday, guys.
okay, well, thanks a lot for everything you guys do too.
We tried, John. We appreciate it, and keep up the good work.
Okay, well, we'll see you Saturday. I'll talk to you a little later anyway. I'll try calling you in a little while.
All right, I'll talk to you in a bit.
Okay.
See you, John. There goes John King with King's Crashe'em, Smash'em, Demolition Derbies. Good, Jeremy. You got a production manager like that on the backside, don't you?
I do. Hey, listen, man. I'm if I'm still able to remember what I'm supposed to put on in the morning when I'm John's age, I will be happy because
Did you know John turned 90 this year?
No,
at least that's what I heard. I mean, Josh Decker told me he turned 90 this year.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't
Decker,
remember nothing as it is right now.
JOSH space DECKER. Josh Decker. He lives in Lisle. If anyone wants to get a hold of him, he told me verbatim. Can you believe John King's still doing this? He turned 90 this year. Go ahead. Anything?
I'm not going to say anything. But, I mean, I watched John get in a car last year.
That was cool, right? Off the FDR show.
Off the FDR show. Yep. A lot of old guys that have gotten in the car. A lot of old guys, man. Ron McClung, he's running the 2-man extreme class with his son Brian, and he's up there, man. But
no,
he's got the life.
Ron does have the life.
I envy him.
No
drive
lie.
around and run derbies. If I can still put my legs up at 45, I'll be happy.
He told me that he celebrated his 35th birthday this summer.
Fred Steffens is coming to run the SanFiippo Smash for the first derby ever.
Really?
And he's 73, I think.
So is that the only way he hasn't got a concussion yet as a derby guy?
No. He's a retired engineer trainer for the union, the heavy equipment union. And he wanted to run GDS. They didn't read the rules for the bone stock, and they welded the car up. So he decided he was overbuilt for GDS, and he was going to bring it to the SanFiippo Smash. Well, I made Mr. Steffens aware of the fact that guys don't usually give a crap at the SanFiippo Smash. So he says, I'm not worried. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to jump somebody. So I said, more power to you, friend. I'll pay your entry.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Finalized last week at long last. Contracts are sitting in my email. Everything is done, and the tickets are available for the Crash Course New Year's Eve party. Going to be happening again. If you're not sure when the New Year's Eve party is going to fall, look at the 31st of December and safely assume that's the day that it's going to happen for the rest of time. It's going to be on New Year's Eve because it's a New Year's Eve party, and that's going to be on the 31st. So be it a Saturday, be it a Sunday, be it a Wednesday, that's when the party's going to be. Excited. We've already got tickets that are flying off the shelf. People apparently, when they said that they were waiting on seeing when this thing went on sale, they were serious. Anthony Wall, I had the link up for about 8 minutes, and he had already paid for his tickets. And he walked away with that Bolton cradle last year.
He got a cradle last year.
And he was stoked. So he's already geared up and jacked up, looking to walk away with some stuff. We're going to be giving away a Crown Vic. We're going to be giving away a Tahoe. Jeremy, helpful in orchestrating those giveaway cars. We're going to try and get at least one more car to give away, plus raffle off a built ride. Tickets are available online. Jump online, shop.smashedempire.com. We've got Creekside Entertainment coming back as the DJ. We've got a dance floor that's going to be a little bit bigger this year than what we had last year. Should have karaoke again this year. We're going to have all sorts of different raffles and stuff going on around the arena. I heard some horrible threats that the crew from Nebraska is going to be coming back out here.
They can't build bottle pyramids.
Oh, don't put that line in the
challenge.
sand.
That's a challenge right there. You boys may be able to engineer derby cars, but you ain't got shit on us when it comes to beer bottle pyramids.
But sure enough, and now it sounds like Ryan Ostrander's trying to get some of his friends from out in the Midwest to come. So it's shaping up to be, once again, one of the biggest and the best. And I feel like that phrasing is a great transition point to talking to the one and only Candice Jo, who is working on, once again, going to be the biggest and the best demolition derby of the year, Blizzard Bash. Candice, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing awesome. I'm sure that your tasks are many and numerous this time of year, as we are now inside of 50, I think it's something like 52 days away now from Blizzard Bash, which is going to be once again at the Kansas Expo Center in Topeka, Kansas. Looking forward to it. How's everything going with that?
Oh, so far so good. I actually got a message earlier from a friend that said, "Do you seriously always just work on Blizzard Bash stuff?" I'm like, "You have no idea. It is around the clock, but in the end, it's totally worth it."
If you haven't ever been out there, you have to go. We've got everything finalized, so we'll be releasing the information for the fantasy leagues here in the coming days. The nice part about that is we're going to use that same system we use for Capital City Carnage, which makes everything completely automated. So all you got to do is pull your drop downs, hit the submit button, and you're in. So there's no more manual entries on the backside, which I am thrilled to kiss goodbye to that. So those are going to be coming up in the next couple days once we get all that stuff finalized. The team rosters are out there. This, all hyperbole aside, this is going to be a sick, nasty national bracket.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just the amount of drivers that come back every year, and now we're including, some newer drivers. We have two of the teams that came up from the qualifying side last year that they are two teams that I wouldn't count out of anything. They have proven themselves more than once that they're great drivers. I was just thinking the other day, just as, Blizzard Bash this year is the last hurrah for Ultimate Derby as an indoor event, and some of the drivers that have been with the show since the beginning is just crazy. The ones that come back every year is awesome.
Nobody can look at the roster and say that's the team that's going to win. It's not possible. You can't do that. You have to be godlike omniscient to know that, because there's so many variables that go into the execution of this show, and then the quality of the build and the quality of the driver. It's impossible to predict. And we find ourselves in that situation every year that we go out there. Is you start looking at it, you see the pairings after the draw, and you think, well, this should play this way, and it never fails that half of the bracket is blown up before we even get out of the first round.
Yeah, that initial team draw for any of the team brackets is crazy because, like you said, you don't know who's going to be teamed up with who, and we've seen multiple times where teams have been nose to nose against each other that are friends that have ran, all summer long or all season long. And, now it's down to who's going to make it to what side of the bracket. And it's crazy.
Jeremy, you're going out there this year, right? You're gonna give up all that sweet duck hunting time to go out there?
I actually, Irma is screwing with my Blizzard Bash. And I'll tell you, my wife had a cruise planned for the weekend that Irma hit Florida. So they canceled that cruise. Well, she rebooked. I'm trying, but she rebooked, and she gets back on like the 9th or the 10th. So
that still gives you plenty of time to catch a plane.
I know, right? I'm trying, man. The Blizzard Bash is the absolute baddest show I've ever been to. It's a phenomenal place to go and look as a driver and a builder and learn. And you have to go in there with an open mind, though, because you'll never absolutely figure out why somebody's doing something unless you ask, 90% of the time. But there's to say that there's ever a clear-cut winner in any one heat, it's damn near impossible. The cars are built so competitive, and the drive lines out there are all top-notch. The builds are top-notch. The guys, the promoters, it's the best of the business, really.
It's hands down the best of the business. Now we've got this
Absolutely.
year with the merger with Smash It coming in to work on that transition as they move into taking it over for Points Forward in 2018. So we're going to have a lot of different input, which should lead to some evolution of rules yet again. And you've got these Ohio eyes now that are looking on the Midwest builds and their interpretation of the rules and how to do things, which is going to further up the ante once those floodgates get open between that East Coast build and that Midwest build, and those things start to merge. If you think the cars are hard now, just wait.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of guys from New York, PA, Vermont, New Hampshire. There's a lot of guys going out there. As our area starts to
catch up,
yeah, get into the mod class, get into the mod cars. A lot of guys that have gone out to the Midwest, that's where they get 90% of the ideas from. I mean, I know a lot of stuff started in Ohio, but it's there's nothing like seeing the builds out there. There's just not. You have to go. You have to go and watch it and experience it. And sit and watch Demolition Derby for 10 hours and walk around the pits for another 10 hours. Sleep 4, get up and repeat.
Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to. Yes, we're going to be diving much deeper with Candice into the roster breakdowns once we get deeper into those and get all the fantasy stuff put out there. So we're going to be hearing more from Candice here in the coming weeks as we get closer and closer and more of the anticipation builds. But the big thing that stood out to us going into this isn't even on the paper with the names and the numbers and the teams. It's the fact that all these drivers now that are entered into the full-size division and all these drivers that are entered into the compact division with the team brackets, they can walk away with a Baldwin motor just because they entered. Smash It Demolition Derby is working together with Baldwin on that and putting a real focus on building Blizzard Bash this year and giving full faith that it's in good hands and helping send Ultimate Derby off into the sunset with their final indoor show like this on a positive note. All those drivers, just for entering, they get 5 tickets thrown into a hat. And one of those drivers is walking out of there with a Baldwin motor, a built 350, and then I think it was the 2.3?
3.1.
3.1, yes, 3.1.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, it's a full roller 355 and a 3100.
how can you go wrong?
Yeah, but I still have. I mean, I've seen the compacts out there, Chris, and I have trouble with the fact that guys are willing to put motors in a compact.
Why would you
But
not?
they do.
You're at the
Some
top
of them
level.
Luminas, man, were so badass last year out there. They sounded like small block Chevys.
Yeah.
Screaming.
And they had as much power. And then they
Screaming.
had those little tiny cars on that big giant track.
Yeah.
And that was there was 2 teams on the track then.
Yep.
You look at the amount of ground, how fast they were covering. The acceleration was just insane. And now, yeah, go ahead. Here, take this and try it, and see if this makes it any better. And it will. It will. I don't know how it's going to top. We say this every time.
The compact teams was that the one allowed the 1 truck per team? Was that right, or am I wrong in that? I know there was a
Here
1
it has
truck.
changed.
Run that again.
This year it's changed. Before we had allowed the 1 truck per team due to some safety issues and the way that the bumpers sit and all of the some other issues. There's no trucks this year.
But last year there was only a handful of teams. This year it's a full bracket. I mean, there's a pile of teams in there for that.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. I mean,
14.
the compact bracket is almost getting as fun to watch as the national bracket.
Concussion City.
Yeah, it's the track doesn't appear that big when you're standing on the ground until you walk from one end to the other.
You got out there and walked it, right?
Yeah, I was out there and walked it.
Josh said that when they pulled through for that extreme class in Capital City Carnage, when they pulled out for that, and you pull through that tunnel and you pull out onto the track for the first time, it's just you're pulling into a coliseum. It's just huge. Like the stands go up forever, and the track is 3 football fields away from the opposite wall. It's just huge inside.
It doesn't look that big because like when you pull out the national bracket teams and you got 6 cars or 8 cars on there, it's like there's 8 cars. It's pretty crowded. But then when the final comes and they put everybody out there, you're like, wow, that track's quite a bit bigger than I thought it was,
right?
Because everybody's still able to move pretty easily.
You got that parking lot style start where everybody's nose to nose. It's
if you haven't ever been to Blizzard Bash, it's one of the shows that you really should go to. You fly into Topeka.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City.
Kansas City,
it's
Missouri.
like an hour drive to where you stay.
It is the longest hour too to get from.
Not at 100. They're rental cars, man. Who cares? Send it. That's why you don't ever buy a rental car, because there's a possibility that Josh Buell or myself has driven it from Missouri to Topeka.
I'm talking anticipation, and I don't care how fast you go. Yeah. Ben's driven our rental car before, and it still feels like it takes forever to get to the arena.
It's a badass 4 days, 5 days of Derby.
The schedule's packed. We said it was, and here's some evidence of it. The 8th to the 12th for Blizzard Bash online, blizzardbash.com. The 2017 edition runs from the 8th through the 12th at the Kansas Expo Center in Topeka, Kansas. Thursday the 9th, that's the big qualifying night. National and qualifying team round 1 starts at 4 o'clock. On Wednesday night, that's the heat draw. You want to be there for that. If you can get into the pit party and you can cut the tension in the room with a knife, all those teams just anxious to know who that first round pairing is going to be with. We said Thursday again, 4 o'clock start for national and qualifying team round 1. Friday the 10th, that's RC Derby. There's going to be running basically all day with the way that format is. They got a part of the grounds just under themselves so that they're out of the way from all the vendors and everything else that are busy that day. 6 o'clock start for the national and qualifying team round number 2. The youth division, 14 to 17-year-old on the card as well. Saturday's the doubleheader. 10 o'clock start time for the compact and limited weld team round 1. 6 o'clock start for the Power Wheels, all the Team B mains, the trucks, the youth, and the bone stocks. And then Sunday is Championship Day, November the 12th. 1 o'clock start for the national qualifying limited weld and compact Team A mains. Candice, what are you looking forward to the most when you get out there?
When it's over.
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of sad to know that this is Ultimate Derby's last year going out there. So I guess I'm just kind of anxious to see what the future is going to hold. I myself, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not having. It's right. Going to be kind of sad. We have some things to tributes from the last 10 years of just the production side of things.
Sure.
Video wise, I've gotten teams and people that have won over the past years. Mm-hmm. Kind of have something special going for that. I'm just looking forward to seeing, everybody. It's kind of nice to go down there 2 times a year and see everybody from literally all over the world. And, just get it started. Once the green flag goes on Thursday night, it's kind of relief of, okay, we're here. It started, and, nothing but good can go from there. I know some people, I've heard multiple times, are kind of nervous about this whole transition of going into Smash It. I think we'll be fine. I think Smash It will do great, and I don't think there are going to be any issues. The same tech guys are going to be there. My same staff girls are going to be there. It's kind of odd thinking that there's going to be change, but obviously Smash It has shown that they can run the biggest show in the nation. Why can't they have the best show in the nation as well?
How can you argue with that?
Well played. Well played.
I like the sounds of all that. What day are you getting into town? I mean, are you there yet?
Yeah. I usually leave either Sunday night or right away Monday morning of the week of. We usually go down and have meetings with the event center and do some things before the rest of our crew comes in. So I'm usually there for a full week.
Jeez.
Best set up in the inspection hall and getting everything started.
At what point during the course of that week do you first notice that you're sleep deprived? I mean, is it right away, or does it take until like Saturday before you notice that you haven't slept much more than 6 hours over the course of the last 6 days?
Honestly, it doesn't hit me until I drive home Monday by myself, kind of recap what had happened from the last week. Then I usually get about halfway home and think, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Huge adrenaline rush from, even from the time that I get on the road from Galva to head to Topeka, which I have it's about a 5-hour drive. I mean, it's a huge adrenaline rush until I get back in my car the next Monday and decide to head home. And then it's kind of like bittersweet, like, where did the week go? What happened? Who won again? Did I remember to pack everything back up? And now it's all over with.
And on to next year.
Yeah, on to next year. On to Capital City Carnage, right? On to planning out the Ultimate Derby Outdoor County Fair season. On to planning Blizzard Bash 2018. On to the never-ending pursuit of the next show. Between Blizzard Bash and I know you help your dad at the shop and you've got the job at the bar. What is the most stress-free job that you have on your resume going right now? What's the easiest job that you've got? Because all of them are customer service related.
Yeah, I would say probably the bar, but I only do that on Monday nights. So I guess, I don't know. I wouldn't say that the Derby and stuff is exactly stressful. It's just a lot of time consuming. Yeah. I go from all summer long doing summer shows to Blizzard Bash to right after Blizzard Bash is done, I do the Northwest Iowa Derby party. Yep. And it seems like right after that's done, it's like almost Capital City Carnage time. So there's really no end. I've got a lot of local people that come into the bar or come into my office, and they're really intrigued by, like if my dad tells them, Candy deals with the best derby in the nation, she runs that. They don't understand it, but they want to know about it.
Right.
So, they always say, when are you done? And I say, I'm not. It's 365 days a year. I work on it, and some days are better than others, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it, and I truly love it, so I'm going to keep with it. And I'm excited for the future of Ultimate Derby as far as summer shows, and I have some new things I want to do with that, and to keep on with the Topeka thing. So I would say probably the bar would be the less stressful one, and that's really nothing.
Well, I can understand that, because you just got to keep people happy at the bar for as long as they're there. Demolition Derby, when it's 365, you got to keep people happy for 365.
Yeah, that's a continuous job of, my phone goes off all day long with Derby questions, and that's okay.
Anybody that you want to make mention of that's making this one happen? I know a lot of the staff that you've worked with in the past is coming back.
I must have lost you. I didn't hear.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Anybody? I know you got a bunch of great sponsors that help out with Blizzard Bash, and you got a bunch of staff that's coming out. Anybody that you want to make mention of?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to mention them all without forgetting somebody. So, seriously, we have the best crew, the best tech officials. Our sponsors 100% have supported us forever. Nearett Demo, Chainless Welding, Derby Tees. Baldwin is new on the corporate sponsor side this year.
Nice.
It's a gray area has stepped up and is doing a lot for the compact side of things.
Perfect.
And everybody in between. They're really, every Derby vendor that we have show up, or anybody that, it's just the drivers. Obviously, we wouldn't have a show like this if it wasn't for the drivers. And coming from, like we say all the time, all over the world. I don't know if you've seen my post about Super Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Is the biggest or is the longest circle track race, a week long.
That's the IMCA Boone Nationals is what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yep.
they had like 11 different states there. We have 26 different states at our show.
They got nothing. They got nothing on Blizzard Bash.
It's just cool to think of stuff like that.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to meeting up with friends in all 26 of those states that are represented when we get out there in November. Certainly looking forward to it. We'll be back in touch here in a couple days to recap more of what's happening with Blizzard Bash as more details come to pass, and we'll be looking forward to catching up with you here as the calendar squares keep getting crossed off, closer and closer to that annual trek out to Topeka for the event that is Blizzard Bash 2017.
You bet.
Candice, appreciate you coming on for a little while, and we'll be talking soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
We'll see you later, Candice. There goes Candice Jo with Blizzard Bash. We got one left to go to catch up on everything. Real quick, we mentioned Smash It Demolition Derbies. We would be remiss if we didn't hit on this stuff. They got one more county fair left on September the 23rd, Ashland County in Ashland, Ohio. The Leaf class, the mini cars, the trucks, the youth class, the Power Wheels, all on deck there. And then October the 7th, 5 o'clock start time is their cleanup show, Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. $10,000 event purse, full-size cleanup class, compact cleanup class, full-size street stock class, compact street stock class, compact trucks, mild weld, mod cars. More details for rules, etc. Jump online, smashitderby.com. And then to round out our ad slots and lead into our conversation that is coming up next, we've got Johnny Gullo joining us to talk about Halloween Havoc, which is going to be at that all-new venue in Salt Lake City. It's at the Utah State Fairgrounds. Halloween Havoc. It's run what you brung. It's got the pit party. Jump online for rules and details. Stirrin Dirt Racing, StirrinDirtRacing.com. We're going to be giving him a call to find out a little bit more about that event. Wayne, you had a chance to hear about Blizzard Bash. You going to try and make the trek out there?
Oh no, I don't really have the time or means to travel out there. It'd be a thing to probably go experience, especially building like the mod cars, like Jeremy said, that to go out there and see the stuff. It's not even, I could probably imagine and blow my.
It's so worth the time. It's not funny.
Yeah.
I mean, we traveled for a couple of years. A small group of us we said we were going to do 2 shows 2 years in a row, and then we were going to move. So we did 2 years of Mayhem. We did 2 years of Blizzard Bash, and then we went to 2 years of Bash for Cash rather, and then we went to Blizzard Bash, and I think we've been there 3 years now.
3 years.
So
It's just, I mean,
it's wild.
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Now you got to add to your schedule getting out to see at least once one of those shows out in Utah. I know you were out there with Dan.
I was out there in May.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty. Danny's trying to talk me into. We're kind of waiting on rules and see what's going on with the truck division. Danny's trying to talk me into and taking out 2 hydroforms.
Yes.
So as soon as we figure out what's going on with the rules, that's going to be my winter build, I think. I'm
awesome.
not
Stock.
I like that.
Flat stock, round stock, square stock. what kind of stock we talking here, Johnny?
Going to welcome Johnny Gullo to the show as he's chiming in with his stock comparison, and I know that's usually the way that he terms it. It's either flat stock, round stock, square stock. So, Johnny, which is it? So, Halloween Havoc all ready to go?
Halloween Havoc is ready to go. Our dry run last weekend was a success, and I think we worked all the bugs out of the stadium, and wow, what a stadium. I don't know if Ben's there, but Ben is just, amazing. I mean, you almost can't even describe it.
Is it the best venue you've had the opportunity to work in? I mean, it sounded by the descriptions. It's the most state-of-the-art facility. It's like a double layer. It's the Roman Coliseum in Salt Lake City.
Hands down. I mean, I've never seen a facility like it. Even if you think of Blizzard Bash in that sense and take the roof off, I mean, it's just amazing.
I'm anxious to get out there. We're going to fly out there on Friday. Ben's going to be out there a little bit. I think Ben's coming out a little bit ahead of us in terms of the way the schedule is going to shake out. But it's going to be awesome. Run what you brung, and they'll find someplace for you to go. They've got the more stocker class, the more middle of the road, a little bit heavier, and then the real heavy class. And there's going to be something for everybody. The pit party afterwards is just as much fun as the Derby, and there is nothing left of the cars that come out there and run. Everything is whatever is brought is brought home in a bucket.
Well, we upped the prize money to $30,000 this year, and everyone asks, what's the payout? And it really depends on what shows up and what heats we actually end up with. We need at least 6 cars to make a heat, so when it comes to the kind of the individual stuff like powder puff and mini cars and trucks and all that, we need at least 6 signed up to have those heats, and as long as we do, we pay really well in those heats. But we try to pay really, I should say really well means it's really deep, because we want everybody to take something home at this show.
Everybody comes home with something, at least try to get close to
it.
And
then due to everything that's happened this year, Stirrin Dirt's going to take $20 out of every entrance fee and $10 out of every hoodie sale. So if you just want one of our cool Havoc hoodies, we're going to donate all that to the Red Cross for all the disaster stuff that's going on right now, and hopefully raise a lot of money.
I love that. That's a great that's a great cause too. Sending that down to Houston and down to Florida, they need every bit of that help that they can get.
And the fires. And Dalton was doing a shoot last week in Oregon, and they were evacuated for all the fires going on. So everyone's forgetting about that stuff that we got going up in Montana and everything else because of the hurricanes are taking a big thing. But it's all over. So we're going to try and do our part, and I think Stirrin Dirt's going to match whatever we raise. So order a hoodie. We'll donate $10 out of that, ship them out to you, or save the shipping and come to the show and watch it and grab your hoodie at the pit table, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
How many tickets are left at this point for that show? 6, 7?
It's where it's at the new arena. You know, we have 10,000 seats.
Right, and it will be sold out.
You will be able to. I'm sure you'll be able to get some at the gate. We hope to sell out. We'll keep everyone posted as those go. I know they sold. We had 6,000 people at the State Fair show, and that was the last day to get discounted tickets. So from what I hear, almost everyone that was there got tickets. So
awesome. Ray Nowakowski, he was on a hot streak, and then we saw Clay Stewart knock him off in Heber City. Brad Bowman, he's been winning a lot of that. Are all those guys planning on being there for the Havoc show?
Stan McDonald.
Yeah.
I don't know. It interferes with the hunt. So some of them show, some of them come off the mountain, so it all depends.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to getting out there for that one. Can people buy tickets online at this point for that show still?
Yeah, they're through the State Fair, SmithTix, SmithTix.
Okay.
.com. And you can type in Halloween Havoc or Utah State Fair, and it'll get you there. Tickets start at $15. The one nice thing about the stadium is there are the cheap seats, and then there are $25, I believe, is up close and personal.
And you want to be as close as possible, because when they hit the wall and then it goes through all of the building, or all the barriers that are in place, it still shakes the seats. I mean, those guys, last year we saw people breaking their own wrists. They were driving so hard.
It was crazy. But we're excited for it. We need to get everybody signed up. I know there's one show this weekend, just a little show this weekend, and hopefully we'll get everyone. So really key, if you are coming, there's 2 entrance fees. $100 gets you your hoodie, 3 dinners, 3 stadium seats, and 3 pit passes. Pretty good deal for $100.
$100
of which we're giving $20 to charity.
Right.
And if you just plan on running one heat, if you just want a pit pass to bring your car, $50.
Okay.
Come and wreck your car. And if you want to buy dinner, it's $10 for dinner. So anyone who wants to buy dinners, but we have to order the pig. We need to order a little pig. We need to order a big pig. So if you think you're coming, please get registered, and we'll make sure we have enough for everybody. But we've usually fed about 400 to 500 people off Jesse's wonderful barbecue.
They have this thing out there called a barbecue Sunday, and it's baked beans and then barbecue pulled pork with coleslaw on top, and then barbecue sauce on top. Oh, it's the best.
And filled with coleslaw. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Why are you shaking your head?
You can keep the coleslaw. No cabbage.
Jeremy's not real big on anything that's a vegetable.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have to get a vegetable, so
you can get rid of the coleslaw and just triple up on the pork.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm game.
It's one of the shows that we really look forward to.
We'll be on Crash Course, so I'm excited to have you guys back and do that. So
yep, we're gonna put that out there, and it's gonna be on Derby Nation. We'll be sharing that all over. The links will be out there, and I'm excited to get out there for it because it's all go for broke. I mean, there's nobody holding anything back at this point. There's no shows after that anybody's saving anything for. So if you want the drivetrain out of it, you better turn it inside out there, and they do every last bit of that.
It's crazy. And the way the arena turned out, it's big and the walls are solid. And if you're on the wall, hang on because you are not going to last.
Don't get caught on the wall.
Those straw bales that you saw at the Golden Spike are gone.
They're gone.
Concrete and mud. It's just, there is no movement.
It's just bending cars from both sides.
Yeah.
Narrowing those things up.
Yeah, you're gonna, if you hit somebody solid, you're gonna feel it too.
You probably hurt your car just as much.
Yeah. You ain't gonna. There ain't nothing good gonna come out of somebody being against a concrete barrier hitting. I promise you that.
No.
Well, everybody can jump online. Stern Dirt Racing has all the details. Who's helping make this show possible? I know you're making Gumby run in circles, but who else?
Gumby's walking.
Oh, we got our tow companies. We got David Sullivan that's sponsoring some parts for us out of Tooele.
Yep.
I'm still reeling from last weekend, but
have we got the mascot group back? Mascot Miracles?
I'm working on them. If not, we're working on Operation Bald Eagle, raising funds for, we're all about charity, so we're raising funds for the families of those who are abroad to help them out. And I think that's who we're going to have in this one, so we'll have the military presence there to pass in the boot around to raise money for themselves.
Awesome.
And the hoodies you can order on Stern Dirt Racing's Facebook or website. And all the information is on the website and our Facebook page, which we just posted the pictures from last weekend. So if you want to see the stadium, it's amazing. I think I shared that with you.
We'll get that stuff all shared around. If it's not there, we'll be able to drum it up and put it on the show post so everybody can see what that venue is going to look like. And we'll probably be talking, if not next week, then the week after, a little bit more, get into a little bit deeper on the driver rosters, who we're going to see, and some of that other information. Because last year, the cars just kept coming.
We have two guest drivers.
Who are the guest drivers?
And I can't tell you who.
I know.
I can't tell you. It's a surprise.
Come on.
Is it Ben Host and Josh Decker?
Hey, they're not even going to know until we pull in the arena.
Oh boy.
Nice.
That's always a good surprise.
We're just deciding if they're going in the light, medium, heavy, or outlaw class.
Good God. Depends on how much you like them, I guess, huh?
Depends if we like them or not between now and then.
Right. Well, I like the sounds of that. There's been some rumor that some of our friends from up in the Mandan, North Dakota area are going to be making the trek down for Halloween Havoc, which would be good to see those guys out there. Hopefully that all comes to pass if they can make the trip.
We got 2.5 weeks for the weather to hold. I know the guys coming from north last weekend were coming through snow.
Not interested in any of that. Make sure Salt Lake City stays mid-60s. We'd be just fine with that.
Hopefully we get rid of all the rain this week, and we'll be set up for just a fantastic. The arena is covered partially, so it's. I don't even know what to say about the arena. I got goosebumps when we got done setting it up. It was like, whoa.
Well, I'm definitely anxious to get out there and see it. It's coming up. I mean, it's 2 weeks away. Everything is just stacked right up the way that this. We get done with our county fair season, we move right into the postseason programming, and when you look at the laundry list of shows that we talked about through the course of tonight, we've still got more yet planned out for the end of October with the Chaos in the Valley show. It's just as busy now as it is in July.
So we're excited. So again, there's something for everybody. So if you got something, bring it. There's something for your $1, $50 for just a pit pass. $100 get you in and get you a lot of everything. So
awesome.
Jump on. Got any questions? Feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. And if it's kind of, I guess the biggest question I got is, where does my car fit?
Yep. Well,
it's it's really you've been there now.
Yep.
First class is like chain and bang or really hurt stock stuff. Then you roll into the next class, which is good stocks, plated. You know, the per the plate rule, kind of the retro mania rules.
Yep.
Then the next class moves up into kickers and a little heavier, and then outlaw is self-explanatory.
That's the loose breakdown right there. You don't know for sure until you actually get there in person. You find out what cars are where, and they'll find some place for you. I got the.
And we're still willing to work with you. If you say, I really don't want to go into that upper class, we'll tell you what you need to get rid of, or if you want to move up, we'll tell you what you can add. So
awesome.
You can go either way. There's a place for you.
Bring the welders and the torches. We got the guys from the Golf J podcast peeking in the window at us, so we got to get going. Johnny, I appreciate you coming on the show with us, hanging out for a little bit. We'll be in touch here in a couple weeks. We'll have another one focusing more heavily on Halloween Havoc.
Perfect. Talk to you later. Take care, everybody.
See you later, Johnny.
Bye-bye.
There goes Johnny Gullo. All of our guests, we appreciate them coming on and being part of a Promoter's Corner here, episode number 197, just about in the books. Wayne Ellison, appreciate you coming in and wish you the best of luck here in a couple weeks with the cleanup show at Paradise Speedway. Jeremy Gulley, Spinning Wheels, going to be seeing you at SanFiippo here in a couple weeks. That is going to do it for episode number 197. We appreciate everybody coming on and hanging out with us. We'll see you back here again next Monday from the North Park building here at Academy Square at the FingerLakes1.com headquarters. See you then. Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at SmashItDerby.com. And Stirrin Dirt Racing, hosts of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at StirrinDirtRacing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.